What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I recently did a live stream revamping my Keep 10 fragrances for life. Now that went across the entire spectrum, but it got me thinking about the more specific subcategories to if I was only going to keep 10, what would it be? And clearly based off the title and the thumbnail, we're talking about clone fragrances. And some of the 10 may surprise you. Some of these won't, because I talk about them pretty often, especially over the lifespan of this channel. But if it came down to just keeping 10 clones and getting rid of them, getting rid of all the rest of them, what's the 10 that I would keep? Stay tuned. This first one I believe to be one of the best releases of 2023. It's a clone of Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple, I believe is the name of the fragrance. It is Bade'e Oud Sublime from Lattafa. This fragrance literally threw off my train of thought in the middle of a live stream when I was doing a live fragrance haul unboxing and first impression. Fruit punch with rose, it's apple, lychee, plum, just beautiful fruity smell. A nice floral hit. Smells like a fresh Turkish rose, a little bit of jasmine, some spice and earthiness to it. Just gorgeous. Like my man Dedrick Hicks says, fruit punch with rose. It literally smells like that. The first time I wore it, I'll never forget, I wore 6 sprays and was told it was too much. It fills a room on my skin at 6 sprays. Monstrous performer. When I bought it, it was around 36 bucks from Fragrance Buy. Now it's like 29 bucks, so the price continues to fall. It's a very affordable Middle Eastern fragrance, and this is just, clone or not, this is just a great fragrance. The quality here is pretty good. It does lean feminine. It's not going to be for everyone. You have to like fruity floral, and this is a very fruity rose smell, but man, it is breathtaking. It is just so good. So this had to start the video off. This is Lattafa's Bade'e Oud Sublime. When it comes to clones of designer fragrances, I'm pretty skeptical most of the time because typically it's clones that can be found for under $100 USD. So it's like, what's the point? Spend a little bit more and get the original. And that's usually the case. But for $29, I really believe you're fine just getting this clone. It's a clone of one of my personal favorites, Oud Rouge Parfum. This is from Fragrance World. Le Parfum. This is a recent acquisition. I did a recent full review on this one. I fell in love with this. This is another one. The first 2 fragrances here, I both rated 9 out of 10 in their reviews. This is so good. Fizzy, effervescent, full of aldehydes, citrus, fruitiness, nice, bright spice. This is a little bit spicier than what it's cloning, but that's the biggest difference. As it dries, this is a little bit more of a creamy musk than a fresh musk, whereas Oud Rouge Parfum is more of a fresh musk. So very subtle differences, but pretty accurate overall. Solid performance. They nailed it down. For $29, if you like Oud Rouge Parfum, it's hard to not like this fragrance. You can try to nitpick and critique it heavily. I tried. But again, if you're a fan of that DNA, which Oud Rouge Parfum is my favorite version of why, it's hard to not like this one. So this was actually a pretty easy choice because there's very few clones of designer fragrances that I stand firmly behind and think are worth picking up. And this is probably the poster child for what I think is a great clone of a designer fragrance that you can get. Like, I paid around $75, $80 for my 60 ml. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's not crazy expensive either. But for 29 bucks, you can get 100 ml, and it's basically the same fragrance. This had to be here. It's Le Parfum from Fragrance World. Now, I've had this one for years, and I recently revisited it, got tongue twisted, and it reminded me of just how good of a Neroli Portofino clone this is. I think it's the best Neroli Portofino clone, especially when you start factoring in performance, because it's pretty much a beast. Tom Ford Neroli Portofino clone. This is from Haramain in their Portfolio series. This is Neroli Canvas. As far as Middle Eastern clones, this is up there in price. This is closer to 100 bucks. This is in like $70, $80 range, but it's way more worth the money than getting a 50 ml of Neroli Portofino. It just is. I'm sorry. I have a ton of fragrances that smell like Neroli Portofino that are more affordable, but the quality is not as good as this, and the performance doesn't even come close to this. That's what makes it stand above the rest. A little bit of spice, bright, soapy white floral, a fresh hit of green, soft, musky, woody tone. It's pretty spot on to Neroli Portofino. They nailed this down. Orange Blossom Neroli combination. It is gorgeous. It's currently my wife's favorite scent profile to wear for herself. She loves Neroli Portofino, and this is a beast. This is an easy 8 to 10 hour fragrance with really strong projection and sillage. That's the biggest takeaway here, is it's a loud fragrance. It's not the longest lasting fragrance I have. It is well above average. 8 to 10 hour range, nothing to shake a stick at. But the projection for 2 hours and then the following sillage beyond that when it starts to calm down, very strong, very easy to smell, very captivating for somebody that really likes Neroli Portofino. Had to have this in here. It's Haramain's Portfolio Series Neroli Canvas. Now, some of you are probably expecting this fragrance to be in here because I rave about this one pretty often. It is my favorite Armaf fragrance. It's my favorite affordable Creed Aventus clone. It is Armaf's Club de Nuit Intense Man limited edition Parfum. I think this is the ultimate version of this fragrance. It still maintains that lemon that makes Club de Nuit Intense Man different from Creed Aventus. It's not just spot on Creed Aventus. It's got a candied lemon smell. Here it's smooth because the oil concentration is raised. It's not sharp and crazy harsh like the Eau de Toilette can be for some. It never bothered me, but I've seen a ton of people over the years say it is for them. Beautiful, smoky, rich, fruity smell. Really good performance. This is actually my wife's favorite take on Creed Aventus too. So that's always an added bonus. It's great year-round. Yeah, it's not ideal for summertime, but I've worn this out to dinner with her parents, out on a patio in the middle of summer back when we were living in Colorado last year. This is all that in a bag of chips, in my opinion, guys. If you're asking me, this is the best. The best, the best, the best. Is it the most accurate take on Creed Aventus? No, it's not a carbon copy. It has its differences, like I was stating. But that's the kind of clones I like the most, where they have their twist, they have their tweak, they have their parallel path, but not the same path. And you get that here. Great performer, smoky magic, just like I feel about the original Eau de Toilette, but refined, much, much smoother. I gotta have it. Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition Parfum. Still my favorite from Makin Scents. It is a clone of Raja Parfum's Oceania, which is one of the best niche freshies ever, in my opinion. This is Makin Scents' version called Triton. Michael Dinsmore flattered me and said because I was such a fan of this, that was what inspired him to create this in the first place. And the accuracy is spot on. The experience is a little different because this is an extrait concentration. This is a high oil concentration, whereas Oceania is an EDP. It's an eau de parfum, so it's brighter, it's fresher in the opening, it's more vibrant and airy, whereas this sits a little closer, wears a little heavier, lasts just as long, if not longer, but as far as the variety of citruses, that watery aquatic tone that it captures with that soapy floral hit, that clean musk, it's all here. Phenomenal orange lemon combo. This is beautiful, fresh greens. Like I said, soapy florals, iris and violet. It's very soapy, a little powdery, not super powdery, clean musk, light aquatic tone. This is a beautiful white linen Oxford with the sleeves rolled up, walking down the beach. That's kind of the vibe of this scent profile. It smells of luxury, but super mega fresh, screams summer. And he nailed it. He nailed the vibe. He nailed the scent profile. Changed the experience because he raised the oil concentration. But it's my favorite Raja Parfums clone. Period. End of story. And it's my favorite from Makin Scents. And he's got a ton of great stuff. So this had to be here. This is definitely a lifer. It's Makin Scents Triton. Now some of you are expecting this to be here as well. And this is actually the newest version. It's a little bit fresher than the old version, and I kind of appreciate that more, especially now that I'm in a high humidity climate once again. This is from SCENTual Obsessions. This is his newest version of his Andy Warhol clone. This is called King Andy. So King Andy doesn't have as much oud funk as the old Andy Warhol clone that he had before. The 2.0 version, which I have the original, I have the 2.0 version, now I have King Andy. And in the past, the old version was here, which I still love. The funkiness of the oud there, but the freshness is welcomed here. It does make it slightly better for my situation with that rich and robust, juicy fruit smell of the plum. Nice ambery, woodsy tone. Again, the funk is dialed back just a little bit. It's not quite as much oud here. It's more of a warm, woody smell than a funky wood smell. Beautiful stuff. Still a phenomenal performer, but the top note is overall fresher. It's a fresher take on what he had previously. Still the best version of Andy Warhol, in my opinion, even with the tweaks and adjustments here. If you're going to get samples and try things from SCENTual Obsessions, the game hasn't changed when it comes to me. This is still, if you're only going to try one, this is the one. You need to try his version of Bond Number 9 Andy Warhol. This is King Andy. Proof that how it smells and the wearing experience I get are more important to me than performance with this. This is my most worn Elysium clone. Some of you know I'm going with Emir Trillium from Paris Corner because I talk about this one pretty often. The wearing experience, the freshness, I love it. It's the sharpest, brightest grapefruit, metallic. Oh, it's so good, so fresh. 3 to 4 hours longevity at best. It's on the weak. It's one of the weakest, if not the weakest, Elysium clone that I have. But I like to wear this one to the gym when I'm in the mood for the scent profile. It's a great fragrance to just run errands when you don't need a ton. You don't need a 10-hour fragrance to run errands and go grocery shopping and things like that. And then fresh out the shower, just lounging around to wind down in the evenings, this is ideal. It's just so good. I like this over Fragrance World Imperium, which that's great too. I like this over Blue Sapphire from Sammy Andrus. I like this over Zion from Alexandria Fragrances. The list goes on and on. There's so many really good takes on Elysium out there in the world, but for me personally, this is the one that I enjoy wearing the most. When it comes to the clones, for me, and what I want out of this scent profile, my favorite that I just got to have is Paris Corner's Emir Trillium. Now, this isn't available anymore, so I cherish this bottle even more, but it's my favorite Baccarat Rouge 540 clone, has been for a long time. It's been replaced by the Ruby edition, but this is Haramain's Amber Oud Rouge. This is some good stuff, and you see that dent in the bottle. It's not a huge dent, but when you have like 1,400 fragrances, that's a massive dent. This is so good. Burnt sugar smell, creamy almond, saffron amberwood. Nice hit of jasmine. Great performance, quality. The quality is really good here. Not on the level of Maison Francis Kirkjohn, but it gets close enough. This is so good. My favorite version. Whether it's a clone of the EDP or the X Straight, I've got clones of both. I've got interpretations and inspirations of both. I got some that are more candied sweet, some of them more almond heavy, some are fresher, some are richer, whatever. I got a bunch of ways to smell like this fragrance, but this is still my favorite. If I'm picking one, 10 clones to keep forever, this one's a no-brainer for me. This is the bottle that continues to stop me from buying either the Eau de Parfum or the X Straight of Baccarat Rouge 540 because it is that good. It's Al Haramain's Amber Oud Rouge. Now this next one they don't make anymore. Their newest version is called something different, and it's a clone of the Eau de Toilette. We're talking about Polo Blue. So what I have is from Dossier Perfumes. It's called Fresh Woody No. 4. And Fresh Woody No. 4 is a clone of Polo Blue Eau de Parfum. I wear this one. This is my favorite Dossier Perfumes fragrance. This is better than the original. This is better than Polo Blue Eau de Parfum. It performs better. It smells identical. Dare I say the quality is even a little bit better. That watery cucumber, fresh greens, aquatic, a little bit of florals. It's spot on. It's spot on. So green, so aromatic and fresh. A little touch of powder. It's incredible. I wish they still made this, because I would recommend this in clone videos way more, because it's my favorite from Dossier Perfumes. I've had this one for years. I mean, they don't call them this anymore. Like, I forgot, I think it's Aromatic Watermelon is the name of the newer one, and it's a clone of the Eau de Toilette. Don't get me wrong, it's a great clone of the Eau de Toilette. They nailed it. But this is better. It's the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum has always smelled better to me than the Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Toilette's just the nostalgic pick. It's the original Polo Blue. It's the nostalgia one. This is great though. If I'm keeping 10 clones, I gotta have this. I love wearing this one. I go through spurts of wearing this one multiple days in a row. This is phenomenal. 6-7 hour range in longevity. Sometimes I've even clocked it at 8. Great projection for about an hour and a half, which is more than I can say about actual Polo Blue Eau de Parfum, which again smells phenomenal. But the clone, this is one of those rare instances, is better than the original. And that's Dossier Perfumes Fresh Woody number 4, clone of Polo Blue Eau de Parfum. Last but not least, this is another one. I saved at the end the two that I think the clones are better than the original. This is smoother, this is stronger, and this is way cheaper than Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. This is 9 p.m. from Afnan. It's fruity. Now, you do lose that fresh fruity pear smell. It's more of a sweet apple note. I sprayed this on my arm the other night when I was gathering these fragrances because it's been a little while since I wore it. This is a monstrosity of a performer. It's absurdly strong on my skin. You can get it for around $30 or less, typically in the 20 some odd dollar range. The quality here is better than Jean Paul Gaultier's fragrance. Don't get me wrong, I love Ultra Male because there is a slight difference to it. It's pear versus apple. Not the same kind of fruity. Fresh fruity versus sweet fruity. This is that jam though. I don't know if there's ever a situation moving forward where I would recommend Ultra Male over 9 p.m. because it's that good. And for that fact alone, because I can appreciate what they were able to do here, it's a lifer. It's awesome for the cooler weather, which I strictly wear it in the cooler weather. It's not something I'm going to wear right now. At the recording this, we're in the tail end of summer, but it is absolutely phenomenal, and I would strongly encourage you to get this. If you like sweet, youthful fragrances, beast mode performers that are going to get compliments, because that's a thing for a lot of people. That's important to a lot of people. You're going to want to check this out. Afnan 9 p.m. Well, that's my 10. If I was just keeping 10 clones for life and I couldn't have any other ones, I got to get rid of all the other ones. This is the 10, believe it or not. I'll try to have links to everything. Some of these don't exist anymore, so I won't be able to have links for them. But until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. If there's certain clones that you could only keep this certain number of, whether it's 1, 5, or 10, what are those clones that you would keep? What are the ones that just speak to you, that do it for you? You can appreciate the way they're composed. You like wearing them more than the originals. Whatever the case, let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the ones that are my lifers, give them a spray now. Pretty confident you'll thank me later, especially if you have a similar taste to mine. Have a good one, guys.